We get a major update on Thatcher Demko, including his injury, him speaking out about what happened this offseason, and this injury just gets crazier. We're going to break down this and more later on this episode. Before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to the 4,432 of you guys. To everyone that isn't subscribed, we're so close to 4,500. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. I know you guys can get us to 4,500. And if you want to keep it up to date with everything to do with the Canucks, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. Well, with that, we'll get straight into the first topic today, which is a major Thatcher Demko update. Now, the biggest thing with Thatcher Demko, we've been seeing so many rumors, reports, everything in between about what Thatcher Demko has been dealing with after the playoffs, and we do get some insight from Thatcher Demko himself. We do see Elliotte Friedman taking to Twitter and saying Thatcher Demko meeting with the media in Vancouver. Key message from him is he's full confident he will be back to 100%. Although there is no timeline, and you got to keep that in mind, the no timeline is a big thing. Said recovery from this unique injury hasn't been linear, and he's hit a wall during the summer, but has made progress the few weeks. The biggest thing with this is the no timeline, and this is something that, as me being a Canucks fan, does not want to hear, and I know you guys are feeling the exact same way. Now, we did get some quotes from Demko during the media scrum, and he does start off by saying, "When I first felt the injury, I wasn't too sure what it was, and we have dived into some research and things. It was a little ambiguous," said Demko. "There's a lack of research, and I don't know too much about what this looks like full picture at the end this whole progress." Now, this is something you don't want to see from a goaltender. A goaltender just coming out and saying they had to dive in, they need to do research. This is not an injury that people are dealing with. This is an injury that a lot of doctors have said they have not seen from NHL players. This is an injury that is so unique, they had to dive into this. They had to look at it. They don't know what the full picture of this injury looks like. And the biggest thing with this is Thatcher Demko didn't stop there. But the biggest thing with Demko is the fact we see him have a Vezina candidate season. I mean, he finished third in voting during the Vezina candidacy. We seen him come in, dominate in the regular season, dominate in the one game he played before being hurt against Nashville. Obviously, Shilov stepped up, but having your Vezina goalie, your all-star goalie, your goalie that's holding it down for you, going down with an injury is something no team wants to see or no one wants to see happen to a player. Now, we did see Thatcher Demko continue on saying, "I can't really give you an answer, to be honest," said Demko. "If you had to ask me a month ago, I really wouldn't have been able to tell you. I would say that we're on a great trajectory right now. This is the most confident that I've been in the rehab progress to date. I'm not going to sit here and give you a timeline because it might create some problems for me." Now, Demko was talking about how this is an injury. He had a small procedure during the offseason. He doesn't know an exact timeline. The timeline is really up in the air, and it seems like a lot of reports are coming out. This may trickle into the season and not just the preseason. I mean, from Demko himself saying that he doesn't know, he can't give an answer, that he hasn't felt great except for the past 2 weeks where things are starting to go up. We see him just talking about how the injury, they don't know what the full picture is. At the end of the progress, they don't know what to say about this. It's something no one wants to see, and as a Canucks fan, this is terrifying. This is something no one wants to see, as I said. A goaltender, the future of this team, a guy that's been holding down the pipes for season after season. We've seen him joining this team in 2017-18, all the way up to last season when he dominated. Having this guy out long term is going to put a bit of a hole in things, but the biggest thing is they do still have Shilovs, they still have goaltending depth, but this is not what you want to see. You want Thatcher Demko back at 100%, and it doesn't seem like this is going to happen in the preseason. I mean, you're looking at some of the goalies, obviously Thatcher Demko, they have Shilovs who will take over the starter role. In the absence of Demko, we see them make a PTO signing, we see them still have goaltenders in the AHL, a guy like Tolopilo, a guy like Ty Young, a guy like Yori Patera. These guys can come in, fill the gap, but the biggest issue is they don't have the just kind of experience. They don't have the lead like Thatcher Demko does. Am I saying these guys can't do it? No. Am I saying these guys are going to come in and not play well? No. We've seen Shilovs dominate in the playoffs last year, but it's during a small sample size. I do think Shilovs can come in, take the starter role, dominate, get the Canucks to where they want to be, but missing out on Demko for a majority of the year, half the year, a quarter of the year, or the first regular season game, no one knows the answer. Demko said it himself. It's going to get quite interesting, and the biggest thing with this is, once again, shout out to Sportsnet for doing this article. But Demko being out, no timeline, and just having no kind of he has his confidence, sorry, but not having a full painted picture on what he's dealing with does get a little scary for Canucks fans. And honestly, it's going to be a bumpy road, but I think Shelovs can hold it down. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on Thatcher Demko just coming out, speaking to the media finally, and saying everything he did in the 2 quotes? What's your thoughts on all the goaltenders that are kind of behind Thatcher Demko that could come in, maybe steal the show, and we could see Shelovs come in and take over the 1A goalie role? Maybe we see someone like Tolopilo come in. I know Callum McKenzie in the comments is loving that I'm bringing up, but maybe a guy like Tolopilo comes in and steals the show as well, showing the Canucks that having Thatcher out to get ready to rehab, to get back to the 100% won't be that bad when they have 2 goaltenders that can hold down. Let me know down in the comments, but we'll hop straight into a more happier topic, which is Lekkerimaki joins Petey. Now, the biggest thing with this is, and if you're new to the channel, if you're not, you'll know that I love Jonathan Lekkerimäki. I think he's an absolute all-star player. And we see from David, he goes on Twitter and says, looks like Jonathan Lekkerimäki will begin training camp on a line with Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk. Now, the biggest thing with this is we've seen Jonathan Lekkerimäki. I don't have stats here. If you want to see any of his stats, click on any video with him in the thumbnail, and there will be a lot of topics on him. But the biggest thing with Lekkerimäki, this is a guy that dominated in the Swedish Hockey League, a guy that dominated in the World Juniors, winning the MVP, winning the silver medal, leading the tournament in goals. He came over to North America to play with the Abbotsford Canucks, and he didn't look out of place. Yes, he didn't go out and put up a point per game in the 6 to 8 games he played, but he didn't look out of place adjusting to North American ice. And if you watched any clips from training camp or during the Young Stars game, Lekkerimäki looked explosive, going through the neutral zone, setting people up, his hands, his shot, everything looked great, and I think we might genuinely see him start the season on this line. Obviously going through the lines, and this is from Daly's Faceoffs. This is not what I'm projecting, but this is what they have there. Höglander, JT Miller, and Brock Boeser. I think this line has to stay together. Jake DeBrusk, Petterson, and this is where I could see Jonathan Lekkerimäki coming in, taking over the spot. Yes, Dakota Joshua is out for some time, and this could be where Daniel Sprong maybe slides down to the 3rd line to get some reps with Teddy Bluger and Connor Garland. This is where I think Jonathan Lekkerimäki can come in, get those early starts to the season. Maybe he's up for a couple of games, maybe he's up for 5 games, maybe he's up for 7, maybe he plays the entire 82 games, but the coaches are going to have to figure out who they want in this lineup. They could bump up a guy like Danton Hyman and bring in someone else. But I do think seeing some flashes of Lekkerimaki with Petterson and DeBrusk, if this continues to play well, if this plays well during a preseason, I think they give him a legitimate shot to make the NHL roster and a legitimate shot to play in the top 6, which, as crazy as that sounds, I don't think he'd be missing out or be out of place at all. But what are you guys' thoughts on Jonathan Lekkerimäki maybe making the team? What lines would you like to see him on? Let us know down in the comments, but we'll hop into everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. Comment today comes from Amber, and she says, the hype is huge, especially with Demko, but without Demko, I'm still excited. Demko isn't coming back until after Christmas. We have a good team, and she was watching Griffin's video, and she said, love the Sopranos pictures. Bada bing. The biggest thing with this, actually, I was watching The Sopranos just before recording this. Shout out to The Sopranos. Shout out to you, Amber, for leaving a comment. If you guys have been enjoying this and want to leave a comment, go down and leave one below. You could be like Amber and be featured on Comment of the Day. While down there, leave a like, subscribe. We're almost at 4,500, so you don't want to miss out on a video. Make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. But I've been your host, Mark, and take care.